Richard earlier gave me a promotion to senior partner. He was actually referring to my partner, which is John Marnie. So he's the founder of Marnie's. He can't be here today, so I'm here in his place. I've been a lawyer for 14 years and with Marnie's for 7 of those years, specialising in management rights. It's an area that I really enjoy, and I love helping our clients either buy or sell their businesses. So today, there's a lot of new managers here. Can I just get an indication of those that are buying a complex that's short-term letting only? So everybody else is all long-term accommodation. Is that right? Because they are very different businesses. So Jessica touched on some of the ways that you can increase profitability, and a lot of those things were really for short-term accommodation, but there are still things that apply for longer-term accommodation. So protecting your letting pool and your asset really starts when you sign up for your contract. There is a lot of things that you get given to read. Your finance documents are the most boring things to read, no offence, Jason, but they are very difficult to read. Even as a lawyer going through them and having to explain them to clients, it is a really difficult area. The most important thing is to understand your agreements. If you do not read anything else, you have to read your caretaking and letting agreements so that you understand what your duties are and what you're responsible for doing under those. So we're talking about the caretaking side of thing, we could talk all day about that. There's so many terms and conditions, things that we could go on, but today I'm really focusing on the letting pool. When your accountant checks the agreements, they're checking your letting appointments, your Form 6s. They make sure that they are all signed correctly, that they all have the correct fees and charges. It's really important to make sure that they are correct. If not, you have to have your seller fix those appointments up. Sometimes you have sellers that refuse to fix them because they don't want to bring to attention of their owners that they're selling. That's really not what it's about. It's making sure that you've got a correct appointment in place. So management rights, is it a business or a job? It's really both, and understanding that is really essential. So, as I said, there's a lot of things that you need to consider when you're entering into it. There's so many documents, the contracts, the agreements, they're of critical importance. So there's not just duties and obligations and responsibilities. The wording of your agreements can be very different. One management rights complex will have a different agreement to the next. And then they may seem like they're very similar documents, but the wording of them can be very different. So you really have to read your agreement and understand what it says. Do not let out any of your units without an appointment. No other outside agent would do that, so why should you? It's essential that you have a valid letting appointment. If you don't, you can't collect rent, you can't collect commission, you are in breach of your licensing requirements. This is a really essential point. Using your most up-to-date forms. So since the government changed to the Property Occupations Act, they've set out forms. I think we're up to about version 6. That happened within a 3-year period, or even quicker. The versions keep changing. So you should have the latest link to the website. Everything is available there. And make sure, if it's been a few months, you just check to make sure that you've got the up-to-date version of that form. This will become an issue when you sell if you haven't used the correct forms at the time that you should have been using them. Has everybody heard of ARAMA? Yeah? Yep. So if you go onto their website, ARAMA is the Australian Residential Management Association. They have the up-to-date links for that. When you become a member, you get access to all of the information. There's actually appointments which have all of the fees schedules provided for you to assist you. John actually wrote the appointments that are available for use. So we want to make sure that all of our managers succeed and have the correct information. So that's a really useful side. Don't charge your owners any more than what your appointments allow you to charge. We often see when a buyer is purchasing, the accountant says the commission is 5%, but they're charging owners 6%. You're in breach of all of your obligations by doing so. If you want to increase any of your fees or charges, you have to give your owners notice of that. You must only charge what your appointment says. Give your owners exceptional service. This means talking to them, letting them know that you've got tenants for them, giving them updates on a regular basis. You have to promote yourself in this industry. It's all about your owners. If your owners are seeing good returns, they're seeing that their property is doing well, they're going to be happy with you. At the end of the day, it's all about money and returns for owners. So you need to be able to show them what you're doing to keep them on side. So that includes keeping on top of rent payments. So we don't often see a lot of delinquent tenants, but some of our managers do. And you have to keep on top of people. Everybody has situations where they may not be able to come up with that, but it is really important that you do make sure you've got your bonds paid all the time. Keep your rents and chase your tenants constantly. And get funds to owners as soon as possible. Jason mentioned this. You can do a distribution mid-month or at the end of the month, however you prefer. But if you get it to them mid-month and you're doing the 2 payments, they'll be much more happier than waiting till the end of the month. Getting a full license is another way that you can enhance your services that you offer to your owners. So you might be able to sell from a lot in the complex, whereas if you don't have a full license, you won't be able to do that. You can engage with other agents like Sire. They'll assist you in the selling process if you need help with that.